Good morning and welcome to our business talk show, Business Rendezvous, the first edition for the week. You know, we're here Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and we're going to delve into a matter of great significance for the Nigerian economy today. And we're focusing on the recent removal of subsidies from premium multispirits, which is petrol, as some call it. And of course, that has caused a steep rise in fuel prices, leading to concerns for consumers and businesses alike. However, the Nigerian government has announced a rollout of palliatives to mitigate the impact of this policy change. So join us as we explore the implications and effectiveness of these palliatives. To understand the palliatives effectively, it is important that we gather certain information, like who is eligible to benefit from this palliative? How did they even get the income that they are going to give the monies, considering that Nigeria is owing a whole lot? And are there specific sectors of the economy that received a boost? They've been talking about transportation, but is that all we need at the moment? I have a public affairs analyst that will be talking about this with us on Business Rendezvous, and I'm talking about Don Peter Iyamo. He's here with me this morning. Good morning, sir. Good morning, viewers. All right. You're into oil and gas as well, so you people are the ones eating the petrol money at the moment.
That is not true.
Okay, so we're talking about the palliatives that federal government has talked about, which is totally based on grants and loans to states. About 5 billion naira each is what each state will get. Some states are already setting up committees on how they are going to disburse the money, but we've not really heard so much about Edo State. Now, we'll start with the long-term implication of this removal of subsidy. What's your thought on the removal of subsidy and then the subsequent introduction of palliatives months after subsidy was removed?
Well, it's a welcome idea and a bold step for the president to remove subsidy. But the implication is this: if he's able to sustain it, for now, though there is hardship in the country. Why? Because before the removal of this first subsidy, government did not make provision for palliative for the masses. He just announced it the day he was elected. He said subsidy is what? Gone. Good. Though we have been agitating that they should remove what? The subsidy. The implication is that once they remove the subsidy, there will be competition in the petroleum sector. It will allow foreigners, other people to invest in the petroleum, because if government begin to subsidize the fuel continuously, at the end of the day, people that are supposed to invest in the business are not doing it. And the money government is supposed to use for other things, they are now budgeting it for what? Subsidy. Which most of us are aware that at times the money go to a few people's pockets. So government removing the subsidy is a welcome idea. Okay. So the masses will definitely benefit, but not now.
Okay. Now, our businesses to adapt at the moment to these changes of fuel prices to ensure their sustainability, because we heard recently manufacturers complaining that people hardly even buy things. Those that are buying, they've reduced the number of things that they're buying. So how would you advise businesses to adapt at these trying times, as it were?
Well, since the inception of removal of fuel subsidy, manufacturers, producers, marketers, small-scale business, most of them are folding up. While some are looking at alternative measures to sustain their what? Business. You know, like Nigeria as a whole, we depend on what? Power for most of our business. And that power sector is not readily available. And what we use is what? Generator. That's what we use to power most of our business. If you look at Nigeria years before, when ECN were in charge, I may say that Nigeria have steady light. Even before they would take before they would take the light, they were announcing so and so time there's going to be maintenance within so and so area. But those things are no longer in place. If the government actually knew well and they want to sustain the small-scale business, because it is the small-scale business in the country that increase the GDP. That is the truth. Because if you look at those big companies that we have in Nigeria, how many people do they employ compared to small-scale business? Maybe before you pass a street in the Edo State, you find that there are many businesses, they will employ one or two. At the end of the day, look at the amount of people they have employed. They are much. People are now using what? Gas for LPG. For their what? Generator. And LPG, which we are using for generator, is also expensive, about 750 or 780 per kg. compared to the CNG which government is proposing for people to use, which is 200 naira per kg. It's just like last week, I went to one of the CNG stations and said, please, if I bring my cylinder, because I want to convert my generator to gas, so that I want to be using gas, since CNG gas is 200 naira per kg. He said, no, they won't, if I bring that my cylinder, there's no way they are going to make use of it. If I want to do it, if I want them to begin to fill my cylinder for me, I have to go to their company, locate their company, tell them to construct what? Cylinder for me. And they will convert that my generator by themselves. That's what the person was saying. Actually, people are supposed to be aware of all these things.
Exactly. So don't even know the
because
difference in the CNG
I know that
and the LNG.
if we take alternative measure, we are no longer using fuel for generator to power our company, and we are not using what? CNG gas, compressed natural gas, which is more cheaper. I know that if you buy like 2,000 naira watt, which is 10 kg, it will last you for more than 2 days. If it will last more than 2 days, it's more economical. So government is supposed to make provision for these things for the masses. Look for company, people that are producing this cylinder, and said, okay, I want the people that the power, the PHCN that we have is not functioning properly, or the power holding sector. Government is supposed to come up and say, okay, most of the companies in the manufacturing company, production company, they depend on what? Power generator. And we are encouraging them to use CNG. So I expect that the government should come up with a mission and say, okay, this CNG they are going to be using, the cylinder, let me encourage the manufacturers of this cylinder so that they can begin to produce more cylinder for these people to buy and use it for their gen.
It will be cheaper.
And tell them how to make use of it so that it will avoid explosion too.
Nice. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about the palliative, as it were, because that's the major focus at the moment now. How are they going to be disbursed? Who is going to qualify? How much will each individual or household get, and all of that? Now, what's the broader implication of these palliatives on Nigeria's GDP? That's the growth. How will this palliative affect inflation rate? How will this palliative affect our overall economic stability? Is that even the best thing to be doing at the moment?
Well, the idea of government rolling out palliative for the masses is a welcome idea too. But the truth is this. When government may say, okay, I'm budgeting so amount for every state for palliative.
Yes.
What is the implication? How is this palliative going to affect every individual? Because the moment the government remove the subsidy, it affects every individual, be the rich or poor. And as far as we are concerned, we are aware that as far as Nigeria is concerned, we don't have a true data or statistics of the vulnerable people in the society. The data is not there, statistics is not there. So whatever palliative government is going to roll out must also affect everyone. Because the rich also what? Cry. That is the truth. So we expect that this palliative that the government is rolling out for the government, it is not left for each state to look inward. To look inward. How will they use this palliative to curb inflation and increase their GDP? That is what they need to do. They need to look inward. What would they need to do? Because as far as the money is concerned, though the money is not too much, but the money can employ a lot of people. And you can invest the money to generate more money. That is what the government needs to look into. Because, for example, I use the 5 billion. I want to purchase bags of rice. It won't be more than 100,000 bags of rice for a population of over 5 million, which ought not to be at least 5 million people sharing 100,000 bags of rice. At the end of the day, maybe 2 cups or 1 cup will reach one person's hand. It's unfair. But if, for example, the government says, okay, this is 5 billion that they are budgeted for what? This state. I want to ensure that this 5 billion will curb inflation, will increase my GDP. What will I do? We have Ministry of Agri. I heard an idea. Somebody said a country whereby English is compulsory and agriculture is what? Optional. People will begin to speak English with empty stomach. That is the truth. So if the government is aware that, oh, this money I want to invest it, they say, okay, go and buy rice. Good. Within the space of 4 months, I believe you must have harvested. Once you plant rice today, 4 months' time, you are going to harvest it, maximum. What will stop the government to say, okay, now, for me to go and buy the rice, let me go to different senatorial districts. Let me purchase the land from the community. I want to employ what? 300,000 people. That 300,000 people that I'm going to employ, I'm going to place them on minimum wage of no less than 50,000. I will budget 200,000, 200 million for 300 people for 1 year. Once said, okay, let me budget 200 million for 300 people for 1 year, then among those people that is going to employ, because as far as Nigeria is concerned, security matters a lot. Add security people to it. Buy tractor with it. Plow, harvester that they are going to use for the rice farm. Look for an expatriate, somebody that specializes in rice farm. Look for that person. It will, even though it costs you to pay the person 50 million, go to Thailand and say, oh, we will send our people to this. I know that as far as Nigeria is concerned, Nigeria have what? Well-able people. We have agriculturists. Call these people. I want you to what? Manage this farm. How many bags of rice will I receive from so and so hectares of land? People within the community will be employed. And the moment you employed one person, that person will feed more than 5 persons at home. That is the truth. And it will encourage what? The growth of the state.
Okay. Now, some people have been calling for the money should be shared to different homes, and some others were saying even if they're going to share the monies, how will they reach everybody? Is it people who have BVN and all that? But when they decide to split this 5 billion naira to each family based on the number we are estimating, since we don't have good data, it does about 8,000 naira per family. Now, but on an average, how much do you think a Nigerian family of maybe 4 would need to survive in a month?
For now, I do believe that God is sustaining every Nigerian citizen. That is not the truth.
We're living by faith.
Yes, we live by faith. No matter the amount of money government is going to give, that are palliative, maybe you want to share it 8,000 naira. You can spend 8,000 naira, you can't even cook a pot of soup. That is the truth. If we tell ourselves the plain truth, go to market, buy 1 or 2 fish. At the end of the day, that 8,000 is what? You have already exhausted the 8,000. Sharing 8,000 won't go anywhere. That is the truth. But I do strongly believe within me that if government should look inward, invest this money, at the end of the day, tell the public, be transparent enough, invest this money into what? Rice farm, even though you want to go into what? Poultry farm. That whatever fund you are generating from there, you can begin to expand the farm. That is just the truth. For example, if it's okay, I want to go into poultry, I want to invest this 5 billion into poultry farm. I want to ensure that chicken becomes the cheapest meat in Edo State. That Edo State begin to export what? Chicken to other states. I tell you the truth. They will make more money. They can use it from the profit they are going to generate. It will control the price, and from the profit the government will generate, they can use that money to begin to tie the road within that what? Locality. So government need to look inward into what? Small-scale business. They have to start from somewhere, because if you share the money today, you eat it, you have already forgotten the money. That is just the truth. The money will sustain them. People in the prison, how much are they using to feed them? We are aware that they spend thousands of naira to feed those in prison. Then so you are telling family of 5, 8,000. How is it going to survive it?
All right, thank you so much, John Peter Ayamo. And that's how we're going to be ending this segment of the show today. The best way to deal with the palliative, according to my guest today, is for governments to invest it, not to share it. Invest it and be transparent, because at this time we have trust issues when it comes to our government. We don't trust them. We don't believe most things they say. But if they're transparent, I think that would deal with the issue of trust, and we'll be open to work with them.